She was just 7 years old, soaked in rain, clinging to a drawing she'd made at school, when her mother looked at her, turned away, and never came back. No note, no goodbye, just the sound of a car engine vanishing into the storm. 20 years later, that same little girl walked into a courtroom, not as a victim, but as a fierce woman demanding justice from the very company that tried to silence her. And sitting silently in the back row, the mother who had abandoned her, now forced to face the daughter she never thought she'd see again. But here's what no one expected. The CEO standing across from her was her own sister. What happens when the truth explodes in a room full of secrets? And would you forgive the one who left you broken, only to return when you no longer needed saving? Stay with us. This story will shock you, move you, and just might change the way you see forgiveness forever. The wind howled like a ghost outside the small hospital in Cedar Falls, Ohio, while snow fell in thick, silent sheets. Inside room 307, the air was suffocating. Victoria Lawson lay pale and trembling on the delivery bed, her designer lipstick smudged, her perfectly manicured nails digging into the bedsheets. Her screams were muffled behind clenched teeth, and her husband, Dr. Jackson Montgomery, stood helplessly by her side. Then came the cry, soft, sharp, new. "It's a girl," the doctor said gently, holding up the fragile infant swaddled in pink. Jackson's face lit up with awe. "She's beautiful, Victoria. Look at her." But Victoria didn't look. She stared past the doctor, into the sterile white walls, her expression blank. The baby was handed to her, but her arms held the child like a stranger. "She's small," she said finally. Her voice clipped. "All newborns are," Jackson replied, his smile faltering. The doctor exchanged a quick glance with the nurse, then cleared his throat. "There are signs of achondroplasia, a form of dwarfism. She'll be shorter than average, but she can live a full, healthy life." Victoria's eyes widened as if the air had been sucked from the room. "She'll never be normal?" she asked. Jackson stepped forward, his voice calm. "She'll be perfect, just different." But Victoria wasn't listening. Can you imagine what goes through the mind of a woman who spent her whole life controlling appearances? When the one thing she didn't plan turns out to be the one thing she can't change? In the days that followed, she recoiled from the baby. She stopped holding her, stopped naming her. Jackson, in contrast, melted into fatherhood like it was stitched into his soul. He named the baby Lily and whispered promises to her every night under a mobile of paper stars. Then one evening, as the snow blanketed the town in silence, everything cracked. "I can't do this anymore," Victoria whispered, her voice shaking. Jackson looked up from the bottle he was preparing. "What do you mean? This house, this life. I feel like I'm trapped in a story I didn't write." "You're talking about leaving?" "I already packed my bags." His voice dropped. "If you walk out that door, Victoria, you will regret it for the rest of your life." She stared at the door as if it were freedom. "You don't understand. I can't be her mother. Not to her." Lily cried from the next room, a tiny sob breaking through the walls. "You mean not to our daughter?" Jackson snapped, rage bubbling beneath his calm tone. But Victoria was already gone. No note, no goodbye, just the soft click of the front door and the tire tracks disappearing into the snow. That night, Jackson rocked Lily in his arms under a flickering lamp. "You'll never need her," he whispered. "You'll never need anyone who walks away from you." But what kind of woman abandons her own child in a snowstorm? And what kind of future waits for a girl the world sees as less than? As the years passed, Lily grew, not in height, but in strength. Jackson took her to every therapy session, every hospital visit, every first day of school. He taught her how to fix her own wheelchair. He bought her sketchbooks when she discovered a love for design, telling her that every stroke of color was a piece of her voice. At age 7, Lily came home with flushed cheeks and a trembling voice. "Dad, I got picked for the art showcase." She beamed. "That's amazing." Jackson knelt beside her. "I'm so proud of you." "But one boy said I only got picked because I'm different, that the teachers felt sorry for me." Jackson clenched his jaw. He wanted to march to that school and tear down the walls. But instead, he looked Lily in the eye. "You got picked because you're talented. People will try to define you, but you decide who you are. That night, Lily stayed up drawing. Her fingers flew across the page as if she was etching her place into the world. And the world, it would soon be forced to take notice. But before that, tell me this. Have you ever judged someone before knowing their full story? And if your own mother returned after 20 years of silence, would you forgive her? I'm sorry for pausing the story here, but the next chapter holds secrets you won't believe. Tell me, do you think Lily will confront her mother if they ever meet again? Would you have walked away from the courtroom or walked toward revenge? Let us know what country you're watching from. And if Lily's story touched your heart, please hit that like button and drop a heart in the comments. Your support means everything. 15 years after that snowy night on the porch, Lily Montgomery stood outside a towering glass building in downtown Denver, home of Lawson Creative Group, one of the fastest-growing design firms in the country. Her fingers clutched a sleek leather portfolio. Her blazer was tailored to perfection, and her confidence, though carefully rehearsed, shimmered just beneath the surface. She whispered to her reflection in the mirrored door, "You belong here." But did she really? Or was she just stepping into the lion's den without realizing it? The receptionist gave her a polite nod and gestured toward the waiting area. Lily sat down, her heart ticking like a clock. Then the door opened. A woman walked in, tall, poised, heels clicking like a metronome. Her name? Madison Lawson. Madison's presence could silence a room. Her eyes were sharp, her tone sharper. She glanced down at the clipboard. "Miss Montgomery?" Lily stood. "Yes, that's me. Anna, follow me." They passed rows of hushed cubicles and sleek workstations where employees peeked up from behind monitors. Some stared with curiosity, others with that look Lily knew too well, sympathy wrapped in silence. Madison's office was minimalist, like a museum exhibit, all white leather and chrome. She opened Lily's portfolio without a word. Page after page turned. "You've got talent," she said at last, "but this job isn't for the faint-hearted. Late nights, difficult clients, pressure. Can you handle that?" "I can," Lily replied steady. Madison raised a brow. "And criticism? Can you handle being told your work isn't good enough?" Lily didn't flinch. "Criticism makes me better." A strange smirk flickered across Madison's face. "Where are you from?" "Cedar Falls, Ohio." Madison's smirk froze for half a second. "Interesting," she said, almost too softly. "I know that town." That should have been a red flag, but Lily didn't see it. Not yet. She got the job 2 days later, and for a while everything seemed perfect. She worked hard, stayed late, impressed clients with her originality. Her co-workers slowly warmed to her. Some even admired her resilience. She was proving herself until the day Madison decided to tear her down. It was during a presentation. Lily had poured her heart into the campaign, bold visuals, vibrant storytelling. She stood proudly as the team flipped through the slides. Then Madison walked in, heels clicking, printout in hand. "This," she said, waving Lily's work like a crumpled napkin, "is what happens when you give someone too much confidence." Lily froze. "Excuse me. You heard me. Mediocre layout, predictable concept. I didn't expect much more from someone like you." "Someone like you." The room went deathly still. No one breathed. What did she mean? Was it Lily's height, her disability, or something deeper? Lily looked Madison straight in the eye. "Are you suggesting that I can't lead because of my height? That I don't belong in this room?" Madison crossed her arms. "This isn't a charity, Miss Montgomery. It's a business." That night, Lily sat across from her father at the kitchen table, hands trembling around a chipped mug of tea. "She humiliated me," Lily said quietly, "in front of everyone." Jackson didn't blink. "Then we fight. But what if they ruin me? What if I can't get hired again?" He leaned forward. "You've already survived more than most. You've already risen from the ashes. You can rise again." The next morning, Lily filed a formal complaint. Within days, it escalated to a lawsuit. Lily Montgomery versus Lawson Creative Group for discrimination based on disability. And then the media storm hit, headlines, hashtags, think pieces. Suddenly, Lily's story was everywhere. Nos justice for Lily. Stand tall. But what she didn't know was that far away, in a sunlit mansion outside Aspen, Another woman was reading the news and nearly dropped her wine glass. Victoria Lawson. She hadn't heard that name in over 2 decades, but now, staring at the screen, her past slammed into her like a freight train. Montgomery, Lily Montgomery. Could it be her? She raced to the phone, called her eldest daughter, Madison. "What's going on?" Madison's voice crackled on speaker. "She's suing me, over nothing." "Her name," Victoria whispered. "What did you say her name was?" "Lily Montgomery." And in that moment, Victoria knew. The child she'd abandoned had returned, not as a broken girl, but as a woman standing tall against everything she was told she'd never overcome. And here's the question that haunts every parent who walks away from their child. What happens when the daughter you left behind becomes the woman who could destroy everything you've built? We'll continue this story shortly, because what comes next will shake the courtroom to its core. But before we go, have you ever discovered that your enemy was actually part of your own family? If you were Lily, would you face your mother or walk away like she once did? Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. And if this story pulled at your heart, don't forget to tap that like button and drop a heart to support Lily's journey. The Denver courthouse was unusually quiet that morning, as if the building itself knew something bigger than law was about to unfold. Rows of wooden benches were filled with press, employees from Lawson Creative Group, and curious onlookers. But all eyes eventually settled on the 2 women seated on opposite ends of the courtroom. Lily Montgomery, calm and composed, and Madison Lawson, her face carved in cold marble. And seated in the last row, her hands clutched tightly in her lap, was Victoria Lawson. 22 years had passed since she'd last held her daughter. She used to think she could bury that chapter of her life, but now that chapter was standing in front of a judge, demanding the justice she never received as a child. "Your Honor," Lily's attorney began, "we will present evidence that Miss Madison Lawson created a hostile work environment based on physical disability. Miss Montgomery was not judged on her talent, but on her height." The defense countered with poise, trying to dismiss the claims as misunderstood leadership, calling Madison tough, not cruel. But when the first witness took the stand, a former junior designer, the cracks began to show. "She excluded her from client meetings," the witness said, voice shaking, "called her mascot behind her back. And once I heard her say, 'Lily's designs are as short-sighted as she is.'" Gasps echoed. Madison shifted in her seat but showed no emotion. Witness after witness painted the same picture. Silent hostility, coded insults, and an office where Lily had to work twice as hard just to be seen. And Lily, she listened, unwavering, dignity etched into every line of her face. Meanwhile, Victoria sat in stillness, her world unraveling. The daughter she'd believed would crumble without her had not only survived, but risen. Can a mother still call herself one after walking away from her child? During the lunch recess, Victoria found Jackson Montgomery in the hallway, standing by the vending machine, quietly sipping his coffee. "She's extraordinary," Victoria whispered, voice trembling. Jackson didn't turn immediately. "Yes, she always has been." "I thought leaving was the least damaging option," she confessed. "You thought wrong," he replied, still gentle but firm. "You didn't protect her. You left her to fend for herself, and she still found a way to fly." Victoria swallowed hard. "Do you think she'll talk to me?" "That's not for me to say, but if you do, be ready to hear the truth." That afternoon, Lily stood to testify. Her voice was calm, but every word struck with precision. "They didn't question my work because it was weak. They questioned it because they couldn't imagine strength in someone like me. But I didn't come here to win a case. I came here so the next girl who looks like me doesn't have to fight this battle alone." A hush fell over the courtroom. Later, as the room emptied for the day, Victoria finally approached her. "Lily," she said softly. Lily froze, then turned. Her eyes were sharper than Victoria remembered. "I saw you in there," Victoria continued. "I listened to every word. You were brave." Lily didn't respond. "I'm not here to explain away what I did," Victoria went on. "There is no excuse. I left you because I thought I couldn't be the mother you needed. But watching you today, I realized you never needed me to be perfect. You just needed me to stay. Then why didn't you? Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I was selfish, Victoria said honestly. Afraid. Weak. Lily's jaw clenched. You left without a word. I waited for a letter, a visit, something, but there was just silence. I know, Victoria replied, tears in her eyes. And I carry that guilt every day. Do you want forgiveness now? Lily asked. No, Victoria shook her head. I just want the chance to know you. Even a little, even if it takes years. There was a long pause. Then Lily said, I don't know if I can open that door. Victoria stepped back. I understand, but I'll be here, waiting. The next day, the judge delivered the verdict. In the case of Lily Montgomery versus Lawson Creative Group, this court finds the defendant guilty of workplace discrimination based on physical disability. Compensation and a formal apology are ordered. A ripple of gas swept the courtroom. Madison lowered her gaze, lips tight, but Lily simply nodded. She wasn't there for revenge. She was there for truth. 2 days later, Madison showed up at Lily's doorstep. You have 5 seconds, Lily said, arms crossed. Madison sighed. You don't owe me anything. But I need to say this. I was wrong. About you. About everything. You were never small, Lily. I was. Lily stared at her, unsure if she believed it. I'm not asking for friendship. I'm not asking for redemption. I just needed to stop pretending. Lily gave her a quiet nod. Then stop pretending. Start doing. That weekend, Victoria returned, not empty-handed this time. She brought a small wooden box. Inside, a photo of Lily as a newborn, baby shoes wrapped in hospital gauze, and a faded letter never sent. I kept these, Victoria said, voice breaking, because a part of me hoped I'd be brave enough to come back, even if I didn't deserve to. Lily picked up the shoes, stared at them, and asked, Did you ever love me? With all my heart, Victoria said. I just didn't know how to show it. Lily closed the box gently. We can't rewrite history, but maybe we can start a new page. Months later, Lily stood on stage at a youth summit called Stand Tall. The auditorium was packed with kids, some in braces, some in wheelchairs, all full of dreams. My name is Lily Montgomery, she said, and once someone told me I didn't belong. So I built spaces where everyone does. The crowd erupted. Jackson clapped with pride. Victoria wiped away a tear, and Madison, standing in the back, simply nodded. Sometimes the greatest victories aren't in the courtroom. They're in the quiet moments when healing finally begins. I'm so sorry to pause here. Thank you for staying with this journey. Let me ask you something. If someone truly regrets the pain they caused, do they deserve a second chance? Would you choose healing or closure? What did you think of Lily's story? Comment 3 if it moved you, 2 if it was okay, or 1 if you expected more. And tell us, what country are you watching from? If this touched your heart, please like and drop a heart and share it with someone who believes in second chances. We'll see you in the next story.